This is Between the Brackets, a Mediawiki podcast, episode 31, April 2nd, 2019. Welcome to Between the Brackets. I'm Yaron Koren. My guest for this episode is John Lewis, co-founder and one of the key maintainers of the Mediawiki-based wiki farm Miraheze at miraheze.org, miraheze.org. You might think it's pronounced Miraheze or something else, but, well, you can pronounce it however you want, apparently, but Miraheze is what we'll go with for now, for this interview. Wiki farms are a subject somewhat close to my heart since I, too, run a wiki farm, Referata, although, by all accounts, the Miraheze people seem to be doing a much better job of it.
That's always interesting.
When he's not doing wiki stuff, John is a cross-school network administrator. So, John, welcome to the program.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Where do you live?
I live in Leicester, which is roughly in the middle of the UK, also known as the rural heartland of the United Kingdom.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because the geographical centre is about 15 miles north of Leicester. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Close to Sherwood Forest?
Sherwood Forest is actually Nottinghamshire, which is where I actually grew up.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
yeah, I loved going there all the time.
Oh, fantastic. That was just a random guess that came down.
Yeah. Near Leicester, it's a national forest.
Yeah, okay. You're probably sick of hearing jokes about it, I guess, but I don't know.
That's fine. Robin Hood County, that's where I'm from.
Oh, is it literally called Robin Hood County?
Yes, because where I'm from, originally Bassetlaw and Sherwood are roughly the same thing, so it is actually called Robin Hood County.
Fantastic. So back to onto wiki stuff. What is Miraheze all about?
Miraheze is essentially there's a project before Miraheze, which I was a part of from the start, which was called Orain.
How's that spelled?
Orain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's no longer around because of many issues, which I'm sure we'll probably encounter later on in this podcast.
Yeah.
That is where the interest originally grew. The original point of Orain was to create. You know how obviously there's so many wiki farms which are, provide a service where there's one person that runs it, they make the calls, the decisions, and people just join, create a wiki, manage it how they want, etc.
Yeah.
We actually wanted to fill a very niche gap in the market where we wanted to provide a service where the users of the service themselves decide the direction and how the service is ran, how the service provides for the users, how the service is basically just ran. So the community members take over how it's run and the technical staff just provide the technical side of things. So that's how Orain began, and it kind of deviated from that model quite a bit. So then eventually Miraheze was created because we still had the love and the desire for that model, and that gap was then reopened.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the name Orain sounds familiar when you say that. That must have been, 10 years ago or something, maybe?
It was, I think, 2013, 2015.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get to all that stuff, where does the name Miraheze come from?
Oh, this is actually quite interesting. We were thinking of a farm name, and we didn't really have any original ideas. At the time, I was working, I was deploying to bastions at the Wikimedia Foundation as a volunteer, and two of the servers were called Myra and Heze, obviously named after sons in the Dallas data center. And because I was working on those two actively, I thought, Myra and Heze, put those two together, that would be a really interesting name for a farm. And I put the name forward. No one objected because they had no better ideas, and Miraheze was born.
Yeah. Oh, very interesting. Wait. So those are named after what? Sons?
Yes, stars is how
Oh,
the Dallas Data Center named their
okay.
servers.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, the MISC servers anyway.
yeah. Okay. No, cool. Yeah, well, I guess people have all sorts of theories. I assumed it came from some foreign language, which I guess it sort of does, but
Well,
indirectly.
stars. They probably go for Latin more than anything else.
Right, right. So, how many people were involved in starting the wiki?
Ooh, initially. Um, that's a good question. I
Or
think
wiki farm, I should say. Right.
initially, I believe there was two of us for the core original idea, which is me and South Park fan.
Yeah, okay.
And then within the first couple of weeks, we managed to draft a couple of existing Arraign volunteers to move over and support us.
Yeah.
Actually, the very, very initial stages, we needed someone else to support us in keeping the farm running on its just purely technical basis, because obviously me and South Park fan are based in Europe. So we kindly asked a Wikimedia Foundation staff member if they would mind taking a couple of hours out of their spare time to just keep the service running in the American time zones.
Oh, really? Wait, and a couple of hours every day, every week?
No, more of a week. In fact,
Okay.
I don't think actually he had to do much apart from one time when the service went down and it was like 2 a.m. over here, and obviously we'd gone. So I think he did one thing, but it was much appreciated. And he does occasionally pop in and check how things are going. And I believe he's just moved a wiki over to us, or he might have done that a couple of months ago. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Can you say who this is, or does he prefer to stay secret?
I have
Anonymous.
no idea whether he likes to be named or
Yeah.
not.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you, mystery administrator. So when was all of this? 2015, I guess.
We were kind of active volunteers at Arraign, and we weren't too happy with the direction the project was going in about late 2014.
Yeah.
So we kind of had plans to try and push the farm back in the right direction we preferred. But since the owner kind of took more of a dictatorship stance, we didn't really have much ability to do anything there.
Oh, okay. You weren't running Arraign. You were just helping out.
No. We were just technical assistants at the time.
Right. Okay.
Well, I say that. We had more technical experienced person running it, and we did most of the work. So it's kind of annoying when you do practically all the work and get none of the ability to have a say in what you do.
Sure.
So that kind of provoked things. Then the project Arraign, there was a high-profile incident where the owner took the quick stance to blame me and get me out of the project because I was very, very vocal against how he was running it. So,
I see. And this argument happened in public, I guess, on the mailing list or something. I hadn't heard about it.
It happened on IRC, and then because the incident was security-ish related, they took the ability to post it publicly to try and discredit me.
I see.
So obviously, if I had the chance to create a new farm or a project, no one would come to obviously join it. And that was early 2015, I think, January, February-ish time.
Yeah, okay.
They took a quick U-turn on that about March, May-ish time, when the project came under quite a lot of DDoS attacks.
Oh.
And since the other volunteer who was actually helping to run it had little time available to him because he was still in school at the time, so he didn't really have much time during Microsoft's exam season, they took the U-turn to bring me back to the project to keep it running.
Right.
Which, as we all know, if you've told someone to leave because of a security issue, they're not going to do that. It's like security 101. If someone does something wrong, don't bring them back.
Right.
Basically, at that point, the farm obviously lost a lot of reputation because of continuously being down, 503s, etc. So the project was sort of coming to its end of life at that point. And so we made the decision that we wanted to leave at that point because we were trying our best to keep the project online and we weren't succeeding too well. And obviously, people in charge, the managers of the project, weren't supporting us in our role, had little faith in us, which didn't really make much sense. So we chose to leave, I believe, end of May 2015, and then over June and July, we started to plan Miraheze, a new project, because there was still that niche in the market, the community ran wiki farm.
Right.
So we spent June and July thinking of ideas, how we can do it, where to host it, the setup, the principles we wanted to uphold throughout from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And I believe we opened to public wikis on the 3rd or 4th of August 2015.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
After a little period of personal investment from me, I think it was about £100 I invested in the project. And then since then...
Okay. Right.
Massive investment from me. And then since then, we've been pretty much community run, community donations, providing this service.
Yeah. So I want to ask about that, how that works in practice. Just briefly, what happened with O-Rain? Do they still exist?
It does not. There was... we left at this point, but I believe there was a compromise where I think the database system was deleted. So all the wikis at that time were lost. There was a few copies from a few months before, some of which have moved over to Miraheze since then.
Yeah, okay.
And that is also the reason why, if there's a security issue, you don't blame someone and get rid of it, you try and fix it.
Yes.
Because obviously they had a leak and they didn't solve it. Obviously since then, we've managed to figure out what that leak was, and we've made sure Miraheze is impervious to the same attack.
Yeah, okay. So what? So you, well, that's always a risky thing to say that you're impervious to, I guess, DDoS attacks or something.
Oh, no, it wasn't DDoS attacks.
Oh, okay.
The final issue wasn't that.
Yeah.
Obviously, no one can be impervious to DDoS attacks if they're not, obviously, a large organization.
Yeah, okay, right. Wait. So the security leak wasn't the thing that caused their databases to be deleted, was it?
It was.
Or is it two different things? Was it just a performance hit, or it was somebody actually deleting wikis?
It was someone that actually went onto the server and did RMRF and just deleted the entire thing.
Oh man! Wow.
Yes. Someone gained access to. Basically, the way Arraign was ran was using VPS providers.
Right. So
someone gained access through social engineering.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they put some SQL query in the URL or something.
No. It was social engineering because the email security wasn't the best because
right.
Obviously Arraign ran its own email service.
Yeah. I see.
And it wasn't properly secure.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, it really takes a psychopath, I think, to delete people's data, I think, even if they can, but anyway.
It does indeed.
Man. So on to happier things, I guess.
Yes, Maurice.
Right. Right. So what does it actually mean that it's community run or whatever your term was? As soon as someone gets a wiki, they get a say in how things are done?
Right. Essentially, what it means is anyone who joins the community, as in creates an account, is treated as an equal. So they have the same opinion as us. The same say.
Yeah,
right,
the same say.
Yeah, the same say as us in theory. Obviously, there are some occasions where you can't, but that's a different matter.
Yeah.
We follow the Wikimedia community model, where we have stewards who are tasked solely with managing, obviously, the community aspects of things, limiting damage to all the wikis, and then just dealing with general miscellaneous requests that individual wikis have themselves.
Yeah.
While the technical staff are moved away, in a way, into the back end to work solely on their jobs.
Right.
So the stewards sort of act as like a go-to between the community and us in the way things work.
Okay.
And obviously people can create votes to decide on policies the farm operates. Even local communities can have their own policies on obviously how things are done, like bureaucrat elections, admins, etc. And the general stance of stewards is, if there's always a community consensus on how things are done, that is what the stewards will implement.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously,
what kind... Sorry, go ahead.
Similar to that, obviously a community, if it's like a business wiki or a university wiki, etc., they can obviously then put in policy like bureaucrats are managers or lecturers and they have final say, and as a steward we'll respect that because we don't want to get into the politics of deciding if managers are correct or university lecturers are actually correct.
So there's a lot of leeway in terms of how individual wikis run themselves.
Yep.
So what's some kind of decision that would require a community-wide vote?
For changes which we want to implement, which have a lasting and serious impact on how multiple wikis are run, we will generally defer that to the community. Such as if we wanted to change fundamentally how the technical team decided how wikis are made, that would go to the community. Such as at the minute we have a content policy and creation policy, which the communities had their input and say on, barring obviously legal matters where we have to have the say, such as pornography, child pornography, illegal content in the countries we operate in as content storage.
Right.
So we try and defer as much as we can to the community. There are areas where if it's not going to have an immediate answer, we will act, defer, and then change how we approach things. But the end goal is the community can overrule us within reason.
Okay, I guess that can cover things like how much copyrighted material to allow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what is the size of the community?
These are numbers which I probably could have done with looking up first.
Okay.
Well,
it's fine. I mean, roughly, is it, dozens, hundreds, thousands?
We host roughly, I believe, just over 3,000 wikis.
Oh, wow, okay.
I drafted a blog post, which I never published, which has quite a lot of the growth analysis that we've had between 2015 and 2018 at the end, which I believe I can get up quickly now. So growth analysis. On December 31st, 2017, we had created 4,000 wikis. And then by the end of 2018, that was up to nearly 7,000.
Wow.
In 2017, we had nearly 13,000 accounts. And 2018, we are now up to 46,000.
Wait, 40, wait, that's the number of user accounts or the number of wikis?
Yeah, user accounts.
Okay, yeah, right.
But actually, for weekly visits as well, in 2017, we had nearly 6,000 weekly visits a week. And that was up to 12,000 unique visitors a week. So there's been an almost 50% increase in.
Wow, cool. That's across all the wikis.
Yes, that's across all the wikis.
Wow. Okay, man. That's this is a big operation. how many people are involved in day-to-day running of things on the back end?
Day-to-day running things in the back end. That is actively there are 3 of us.
Yeah.
Part actively it goes up to 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
With one person who does finances, perhaps less regularly because he's got a more demanding day job than the rest of us.
Yeah. So no one's doing it full time though.
No one's doing it full time.
Yeah.
If anything, I probably have the best freedom when it comes to full time, because obviously my natural day job is all the way around computers, so I can always spare the extra couple of minutes a day to do things as and when needed.
Yeah. So what actually briefly what is it that you do? I know you're a network administrator. But what is it you do during the day? I mean,
essentially I work in management. So day to day I don't really do a lot.
Yeah. Sorry. I meant for your actual job. But
okay.
I'm interested. I'm curious about both, of course. But yeah.
Yeah.
Both of those. Actually.
I meant my actual job. My actual job.
You were talking about your actual job. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. My actual job.
When you said you don't really do a lot, I assumed you were talking about Miraheze, but
no. Day-to-day wise, actual job. I'm in management, so things like meetings, staff, and human resources is most of my area.
I see.
I do occasionally step up to do things like project approvals, budgeting, and including in those meetings is it's not 4 weekly, monthly check-ins with individual schools in my allotted area. I obviously have a deputy who manages the other section of schools in the area. So overall, we have 31 schools that we manage.
Wow.
I manage 15 and she manages 16.
Yeah, okay.
So on a day-to-day, essentially what it would be for me, besides meetings, is I would go to schools, have the meetings, check in with them, hang around for about half a day, understand the things they need to be done, in general deal with, obviously, staffing issues, holiday approvals, etc. Then if necessary, if there's a gap to fill, I will fill in that gap at a school. So I'll go in for the day, I'll do things like routine help requests, laptop repairs, computer repairs, account issues, software issues, etc.
Yeah. It sounds like your actual job and your work at Miraheze aren't entirely different from one another.
They are not, no.
You're sort of, managing a community in each case.
Yep.
And plus technology.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, you said there's basically thousands of wikis on Miraheze at this point.
Yeah.
What are some of the big wikis that any that people might have seen or heard of, or if people have heard of any of them, which would it be?
Our largest wiki that I know off by memory is all the Tropes, which obviously deals with categorizing and documenting TV tropes.
Yeah,
like movies,
okay.
etc.
I've certainly heard of TV tropes. I guess
Yes,
I've heard of all the tropes also. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fork of TV tropes because it's run in a similar, I believe it's a similar non-community democratic dictatorish way, and obviously they weren't too happy about that.
Yeah. Okay.
All the Tropes actually was taken from Orain by us because they were hosted on Orain originally.
Oh, okay.
And one of the wiki staff used to work for Orain informally as a system administrator.
I see.
And then now in Miraheze, the other person in charge of the wiki actually runs our finances.
Oh wow. Okay. So there's no hard feelings, I guess.
No, there are no hard feelings.
Yeah. And it moved over before O'Rain lost their data, or was that one of the wikis that wasn't deleted?
I believe it moved over about half a month after it lost its data.
After, okay.
Yeah, there was a copy that they had, which was thankfully mostly accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I guess TV Tropes, the original one, it's not Mediawiki based. It's some other wiki system. I want to say PM Wiki. Not sure.
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Again, maybe the most famous PM Wiki based wiki. I don't know at this point.
Probably by far. I'm trying to think, what do we have besides that? Oh yeah, there is a wiki which is called TME, which is the Multilingual Encyclopedia. It's
Multilingual what encyclopedia?
The Multilingual Encyclopedia.
Oh, okay, TME.
So I guess it's kind of like Wikipedia's all crushed into one.
Cool.
That would be my guess anyway.
Okay.
Cool. We don't really do too much work with TME. So I don't really have much first experience of what it is, but it is our second largest wiki in active use at the minute.
Wow.
We do have some Wikimedia Indonesia wikis coming over to us.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we actually have a relatively close partnership with Wikimedia Indonesia as of late, where they've donated some money to us to assist in hosting, I believe it is one of their organization wikis and one of their archive wikis, where they host copyrighted fair use images which are free and accessible for obviously the organization and people of Indonesia to use.
Yeah, okay. So this is a wiki or a set of wikis for use, for organizational purposes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, by the people in Indonesia. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are there any wikis that you're involved with as an editor?
No, unfortunately not. No.
Okay. Yeah. Do you ever do wiki editing? Is that it, or is it's not really your thing?
I thought about it originally, but I never had the time originally to get involved into an individual wiki. I do hope eventually to get involved with the wiki, but at the minute it's just not looking likely with work and other commitments. But it is definitely on my radar to do.
Yeah. Okay. No. You don't seem to have a shortage of things to work on.
Yeah,
so
no. Definitely not.
I want to talk about the financial aspect of it. It's interesting with wiki farms in general. I don't know if you pay attention to the larger wiki farm worlds at all, or ever paid attention to it.
Yeah, I do occasionally.
There was a period of time, I guess maybe 2002 to 2007 or something. I don't know, when a bunch of wiki farms got their start. That's when Wikia, which is now called Fandom, got started. And for a while, it seemed like a really good business model. At some point, I think people discovered that it's actually very hard to make money from wiki hosting.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, I mean, Wikia / Fandom actually, I think, does quite well from just advertising. I don't know how much money they're making, but their sites are extremely popular, so I assume they're doing all right. And they just bought, if for people who listen to the podcast, they just bought Gamepedia. We mentioned it in the interview with Megan Cutterfellow a few months ago. But those are all wikis where the goal is to get as many viewers as possible. Where they focus on pop culture topics and that kind of thing, sort of like all the tropes. And I guess your other popular wikis. well, not necessarily pop culture, but the idea is it's for a mass audience. But there's a lot of other wiki farms that are really just intended for use within organizations, where they try to basically serve as an intranet or something for that organization. They try to make money directly from the users. So you pay, $50 a month or $100 a month or whatever it is for the hosting. I don't know if you know any of these names, but there's farms like Wikispaces and Wet Paint. So it seems like a lot of those have been abandoned. Wikispaces just went out of business. Wet Paint is no longer doing wikis. That's been the case for a while. And then there's other wiki farms in that group that exist, but they seem to be just in a holding pattern. There's Edit Me, Social Text, PB Works. Actually, I went to the sites of those companies and their Twitter and Facebook accounts and stuff, and it looks like they all stopped getting updated around 2015, 2016. So yeah, but I guess they basically exist just to keep getting revenue from their existing users, but they make so little money or something that there's no benefit to be had in maintaining anything there anymore. Yeah. So I mean, in terms of the financials, obviously you have so I want to talk about your setup. I mean, did you think about trying to be a for-profit thing, or was that never even an option, a consideration?
At the very first, on day one of us deciding for Miraheze how we wanted to approach it, we ruled out for-profit immediately.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to do this because we enjoyed it. We wanted to do this because it was an idea, a love. We didn't want it to turn into a thing where we had to do it because we were being paid to do it, or we were doing it because we had to provide the service.
Right.
And obviously that suits a non-profit model really well, because you get paid for what you are doing instead of being paid to do what they want you to do.
Sure, yeah, right.
And especially when you're running a community-ish farm, it's better to gauge the interest of the community, get them to say, we like this service, we want to keep it around because we like how it's ran. Here's some money. Please keep providing this service.
Yeah.
While for a for-profit sort of approach, you can't really be community-run, because then a simple decision by the community from small investors might have a massive impact on an extremely large investor. Which then drives the larger investors away, so...
Yeah.
Long term, it's not viable.
Right. Yeah, I think, well, just in terms of the financials, I think the way you're doing it is more sustainable than a for-profit approach, just because it is so hard to make money from wiki hosting in a for-profit way. So it's interesting. You're entirely donation based.
Yes.
And is it mostly small donations or?
Yes, it is mostly small donations. We have had 2 large donations from. We've had one from Wikimedia Indonesia, and we've had one from Wright University in, I forget which state it is in America.
Oh, okay. Wright University, like with a W?
Yeah, W.
Yeah, okay.
So for each of those donations, Wikimedia Indonesia gave us, I believe it was, money-wise, gave us about $2,000 US to host the wikis they wanted to move to us long term. And then, as an agreement, they're also leasing us a server where we can route Asian traffic through that to provide a better service to obviously users in Indonesia, Singapore, Australia, etc.
Oh wow!
So it's a mutual beneficial donation there. It helps us as a service, and obviously it benefits them directly because their users get access to quicker cached content and pages.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
Wright University, I think it was 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I looked it up. They're in Ohio, if it's the one I found. Right.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
For Wright University, at the minute, I'm not sure how that's progressing, but there's a lecturer who managed to get, I think it was $800 as a in-kind donation to Miraheze for hosting, I believe it is 100 wikis for use by his students. So
cool. Right.
I think he's doing it as a trial to try and expand it to more of his classes, where he's picked one class he's teaching and trialing them where they submit their work through a wiki.
I see. Yeah.
And then obviously he can grade it, access it, manage it that way. And then when it comes to the next set of cohorts, he can just get rid of all the content on the wiki and just start fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting uses of wikis in education. Actually, that company I mentioned before, Wikispaces, which no longer exists, but my understanding is most of their customers were professors and educators and stuff.
Yeah, I'm also recalling this from memory. I've not checked it lately, but I think there are 3 or 4 UK universities which use Miraheze one way or another.
Oh, cool.
I think 2 use it for their lecturers' notes, 1 use it for their students' union internal things, and the other one I saw recently, I've got no idea what that's for. I think it might be a student group.
Yeah.
So we are gaining a little bit of traction in, obviously, UK universities, which is great.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, do you try to pitch yourselves more for I don't know, educate? I can't even think of the umbrella term to describe everything that you could potentially. But you know, so things that are beneficial or have a nonprofit component, or is it just you're happy with whoever uses the site?
At the minute, we're happy with whoever uses the site.
Yeah.
We are thinking and are wanting to kind of try and put ourselves out there more. But we don't want to specialize in an area. We want to keep broad and open. But we do want to put across that we do have existing users in quite a lot of industries. We have, obviously, universities, educations, just general community wikis, things like all the Tropes. We have a few businesses. I think we also have a political party in the UK which uses our service as well to host some of their internal documents.
Oh.
A particular branch. I think it might be a London-based political party. I'm not going to say which type because I don't know if that's something people know yet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Although saying that, someone could look at our wiki list and figure it out one way or another. Although it is a private wiki, so they can't view it.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to ask about that. So someone who runs a wiki, they can have it either public or private.
Yes, wikis can be public or private. Obviously, private just means people can't view the content, edit the content, apart from the main page.
Right.
Which obviously is just in the natural wiki way.
Yeah. Yeah, on Referati, that's the half-hearted attempt to make money is if you want a private wiki, you have to pay a monthly fee for that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So yeah, so in terms of the money, is the donations enough to pay for the servers and all the other stuff?
For the past 3, well, actually getting to 4 years now, nearly. We've been stable and viable for the past 4 years. We are kind of hitting a point now where our reserves and our current expenditure is reaching a point of where we need to invest more, but we can't without putting ourselves into obviously uncertainty in the future. Because I believe our monthly costs are about $190.
Yeah.
And we have, I think it is $2,000 in reserve.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So we have room to expand, but we do like to keep the idea of a year's reserve available.
Right.
And if we expand anymore,
So
that year is going to slowly cut down to months and so on and so forth.
yeah. Sure. In the worst case scenario.
Yeah, we are thinking and actively wanting to take the Wikipedia approach, which is where yearly we go to the users and go, hi, if you like our service, we kind of need money.
Yeah.
Here's how we're going to use it.
Yeah.
Just give $1 or something.
Right. Put somebody's face up at the top of every page.
More or less. Until now, we've never done that. So we have survived for nearly 4 years just based on people who want to donate, not knowing how much it costs to run Miraheze. Just going, oh, I have $15 spare, have it. And it is mostly small donations. Like, we put all our finances public on the wiki. And if I just go down the current donation list for this year, it's $12, $100, $12, $50, $189, $30, $12, $10, $25, etc. It's mostly small donations followed by 1 or 2 big donations, but the small donations actually really do help a lot. Because that's about 4 months for one server, which...
Right. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Knowing that just $20 or something will keep the site going for, I don't know, almost a week or 5 days or something. Actually, speaking of soliciting donations, if anybody out there listening uses Miraheze, definitely consider donating. It's certainly a good cause. And I'll have a link to the donation site, the donation page on the podcast site,
which will also include all the financial information as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. So yeah, this is a Mediawiki podcast. I want to ask some vaguely technical questions. How did you decide to use Mediawiki?
We all had experience at the time operating a Mediawiki farm, obviously from Moraine, which wasn't our choice to use Mediawiki, but we were also all active volunteers for the Wikipedia and the Wikimedia Foundation.
Oh, okay.
So we had the experience there.
Yeah.
At the time, we had 2 volunteers who were also fairly well versed with the code of Mediawiki. I wasn't at the time, but I've taken a more active role lately, where I've kind of gone from operations and technical management to software development.
Yeah.
Which is one of the key things Miraheze likes, because we don't want to utilize existing tools. We want to create our own tools from scratch because it has a greater integration effect on our infrastructure. We know the code better, we can adapt to it quicker. Right. And if we ever encounter an issue, it's about 10-12 hours worth of work to just fix it without going to a developer, going, have this issue, can you fix it? Relying on their time, them to deploy the code, test it, doesn't work, come back, etc. Because I believe is it operate site settings?
Yeah. Actually.
For Miraheze, this is actually one of the core things we wanted to implement from day one, which we call Mediawiki.
Right.
It's taken until the first quarter of 2018 to actually do it, and since then we've gone from core settings like site name, public, private, closed, open, language settings to we now have the capacity to manage extensions, settings, permissions, and namespaces in the code base, with the obviously end goal to implement more or less every Mediawiki setting we can do.
Oh yeah. That's interesting. Right, I was looking through the list of extensions that you guys have created. I didn't realize Mediawiki basically did the same thing as my site settings extension, Did site settings exist when you went to create Mediawiki? I guess it must have if you only did it about a year ago.
Yeah, I think it would have done.
Yeah. Did you think about using site settings? That's the extension of mine that no one uses. But go ahead.
We viewed and evaluated existing extensions, but we always had the idea that we wanted to operate our own infrastructure completely. We wanted to be fully independent.
Yeah.
But obviously, extension-wise, as the base, we have Create Wiki, which obviously manages the wiki creation and base management of wikis, such as open and closed. It allows other wiki farms as well to ideally create themselves really easily and quickly, because the extension code's kind of smooth and flawless in a way. It's not been fully tested on new setups, and we actually did have someone asking about it, and we've just not had a time to document it from scratch fully yet.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna ask if anyone's using these extensions you've created.
As far as we know, I think there was one person who's tried to set it up and actually has. Obviously, with quite a bit of help. But the issue with us is we created these extensions in 2015 as a base, and we've just set them up and coded around our infrastructure. We've never actually looked at it and gone, let's reinstall this, see if it actually works from scratch, and what we need to do.
Yeah, I've had the exact same experience with Referata trying to open source the software that runs it. It's really it's a lot of work to get it from it works for me to something that's usable for other people. I have had one success, which is the admin links extension that came out of Referata.
Yes, we have that in our wikis as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We actually, I think we have about 100 extensions available to be enabled by anyone as soon as they want to.
Yeah. So what? Is one of them. Cool. So people it's just like a set of check boxes. People can just choose whichever subset they want. Oh, okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. So well, I won't. We can't go through all of those extensions, but I guess you have about 10 extensions. You mentioned Create Wiki and Manage Wiki. 10 custom extensions, or not custom, but Miraheze developed extensions. And you're the author or the maintainer of most of them, I guess.
Yes, I'm not the author of Create Wiki. I didn't create the initial code to manage Wiki, but I did implement a lot of the functionality.
Yeah, okay.
From scratch, I've made Matimo Analytics, which used to be obviously Pywick.
Oh, okay.
Which basically just adds a tracking code and just allows a lot of the analytics from the software to be displayed on a page in Mediawiki.
Yeah.
Which we obviously allow all our users to view their wiki stats.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else other extensions there are. Wiki Discover, which is built upon Create Wiki, which allows wikis to be discovered, because we found Site Matrix didn't suit our needs, because obviously it's based around the Wikimedia model quite heavily.
Site Matrix, right. It's not that useful for on Wikimedia sites either.
Yeah, it's true. And the latest thing I'm working on in my spare time is incident reporting, which is where, because obviously we document all our incident reports on wiki pages like the Wikimedia Foundation do.
Right.
But it is so much easier if we can just add a Mediawiki form special page to do it.
Yeah.
And the end goal for that is we want to make it so people who got to review incident reports view them. We send notifications out to alert them. We can aggregate statistics easily and in live time. And as well, end goal is we are going to ship separate software, such as a basic PHP script which can be loaded onto any web page. and allows people to view all incident reports even when a service is down.
Oh, wow.
Which then allows us to look at our past reports and go, oh, this has happened before. Here's how they solved it.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds, well, that and the analytics one, and I may say that some of the others sound useful, not just for wiki farms, but, just wikis in general.
Yeah.
For,
incident reporting does work, will work on just any Mediawiki install. Matmo Analytics, I believe, does work on any wiki as is. I think that is actually used on quite a lot of wikis outside of Miraheze. I've not looked at the data yet, but I think there are quite a lot of wikis that do use it.
Oh, okay. Cool. There was there's an extension I was curious about called Rotten Links, which I guess
Rotten Links. Yep, I also made that. That requires a lot of work. But obviously, Wikimedia have got the dead link checker library, and obviously have quite a lot of bots which regularly check for dead links and mark them. Basically, the way that works is it scans the external links table on a wiki.
Yeah.
And checks all of the links, see whether they return a result, don't return a result, what they return if they don't return 200 or 301, etc.
Right.
And marks them as good, bad, and allows you to see what pages they used on, so you can fix them easily.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know. I thought on Wikipedia it was all done via bots. I didn't know they had any kind of central software to do that.
I do not know. I think the bots use Deadlink Checker Library.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of do want to convert the code to use the Deadlink Checker Library because it's so much more efficient than the code I'm using right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at the minute I'm just using basic code requests, and Deadlink Checker is so much more advanced.
Oh, so you might get rid of that extension, the Rotten Links extension.
I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to implement the existing media.
Oh, okay. You'll just right.
Because
make it.
That code does not do anything on wiki. It does not display pages on wiki, etc. So
I see. It's all offline.
Yeah. And I would really love to do long term is make it so in live, if a link doesn't return a good response code, it highlights it on the wiki page.
Yeah.
So you can scan through a page and go, that link doesn't work, and just see it immediately. Such as it's turned red, highlighted, etc. and so forth.
Right, yeah, the script goes through and makes small edits to wiki pages.
Yeah, or just changes how the skin displays links as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure which one to do it yet.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's something else people should check out if you have a large wiki. That could definitely be useful.
And I take ideas to improve the code anyway, so...
okay. So actually, this is a little bit insider stuff, but speaking of the actual code and code improvements and stuff, your extensions are not stored in the main Wikimedia code repository. You put them on GitHub, and then also bug reports and so forth for those don't go on the main Wikimedia Fabricator site, but rather you run your own Miraheze Fabricator installation. So yeah, why aren't you using the Wikimedia resources?
It's more comes back to the whole, we developed these tools in mind for Miraheze and for Miraheze wikis, and because we liked the idea of independent infrastructure, we wanted to collate all of our bugs, our reportings, our features into just one source. So I can log on, look at it and go, okay, I've got these 10 features to work on for the extensions, but at the same time there's also this back-end issue that I need to solve. So it allows me to easily prioritize my workload and allows me more greater control over what I need to look at in one place instead of looking at Miraheze and then Wikimedia and going, which one's more important?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the one downside to that, at least to having the code not stored on Wikimedia's repository, is that you don't get access to the translation services. I don't know how big the deal is. Actually, I don't know if you have any non-English wikis.
We do. We have quite a lot, and we actually do use translatewiki.net.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. We had a volunteer who's no longer with us, who still works at the foundation, I think, in the internationalization department. Internationalization, yeah. He moved our extensions over to use TranslateWiki, give the bot access, so it could then push translations that are made.
Yeah.
And we do regularly deploy those changes on our own infrastructure, and obviously they get committed straight to the master code, so they're always going to be available for people who want to use it.
Cool. Do you have any? What happens? Do you have any sorry, let me start that over again. Do you have any process for culling, I guess, wikis? If a wiki becomes inactive, do you have a process for deleting it, or you just let things stay as they are?
We do. At the minute, it's a manual process, but with the work on Mediawiki and Tropes, I want to make it more automated.
Yeah.
At the minute, what happens is, when we began, we implemented a dormancy policy, where if a wiki's had no edits for 45 days, it's marked as inactive, which then puts a site notice on the top of the wiki saying, "Hi, edit your wiki, please, if you want to keep it."
Right.
After 15 further days, so 60 days with no edits, it's marked as closed.
Oh, okay.
Which means you can't contribute. And if you want to contribute, you've got to reopen it or adopt it if it's a community wiki.
Yeah. Right.
Which is obviously similar to Wikimedia's system, where if there's a Wikipedia with active administrators, you can go, "I want to manage this wiki." Sure, have admin for 10 days and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then after 120 days with no further edits, we delete it.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. That's more or less the setup system I have on Referata. Although there's no it doesn't never suggest to anyone to adopt a wiki, but every so often, it hasn't happened often, but it always it always leaves a big impression when it happens. I get an email from somebody saying, "What happened to my wiki? I left it about a year ago, and I was all set to come back and start getting into it again. And then I have to break the news to them that it's gone forever."
Yeah, we do have that quite a bit, especially when the policy was first introduced, as in actually used. The way we are going to work on getting rid of that is we're going to automate it more, because at the minute, if it hits 60 days, it's closed. But it might be closed at 68 days, 70 days, 100 days.
Yeah.
So it kind of isn't consistent. The minute, what we do is we run a script daily, which doesn't really do a lot besides close wikis. But the end goal for that is we're going to implement a in-house deletion system where a wiki will be marked as deleted, but not actually deleted. So after 180 days, it disappears.
Right.
And then up to 7 days after that, we can delete it.
Right. Yeah.
So they'll have a 7-day grace period of like, "Oh, where's my wiki gone? I need it." "Oh, don't worry, here you go, it's back. Just do something with it next time."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 7 days is good. I mean, I don't even know what the ideal length of time for that is, because people
don't either. But obviously, with our extensions, we just try and make them as customizable as possible. So the deletion period will be customizable based on a farm. So if a farm wants 2 days. If they want a month, they can have a month, etc.
So yeah, this is interesting. I always like these these discussions that come up in this podcast. This is really the first time I think this is true, as crazy as it sounds. It's the first time I'm actually talking shop with a fellow wiki farm maintainer. I just sort of did all this stuff on my own, essentially replicating all of what you're doing, although you guys are putting more effort into it. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to trade notes, and hopefully, if anybody else wants to start a wiki farm, they can. It'll be a lot easier for them. They can get some tips from this, and of course, use all of your software.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I do hope you get everything. I mean, if somebody wanted to create a Miraheze clone, could they do it with the current extensions available?
Yes, we publish all of our code publicly.
Right, but I mean,
we...
is it? Yeah, go ahead. So it's usable. I mean, there's no
with some investigation, it will be usable. Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they might have to talk to you.
Yep.
To get help around things, but basically, it's doable.
And when I do blog posts announcing new features, I always put at the bottom of the post, if you want to use any of our extensions at all, need help, contact me, and I'll provide the help as much as I can do, and is necessary.
Yeah. Cool. There's actually, I mean, I don't know if you're involved in this world at all either, but there's actually a lot of companies who end up implementing a wiki farm because they want a wiki, and then a few other departments want wikis, and before you know it, they have to have software to allow for adding more wikis on an automated basis, because it starts becoming 10 wikis, 20 wikis, 30 wikis, and so forth.
Yeah, I've actually got a little bit of experience working with wikis in an internal basis, because I used to have a job at a university, and I do kind of work with the university now, a different university, where they do a lot of their documentation internally on wikis, and some of the departments themselves do also have wikis where they then further their documentation as well privately.
Yeah.
I've always tried to push my software installs on them, but they've been less than willing to update, because it's just a natural response of, it works, why change it?
Right, yeah.
Which does happen at universities quite a lot, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, it works, and it's fine when it's 5 wikis or something, but at some point, that's really the only solution, is to centralize everything. Well, cool. I mean, if you ever wanted to make money off of this whole thing, or turn it into a full-time thing, I think the idea of having a enterprise Miraheze could be one approach.
Oh, that could definitely be interesting, but unfortunately, I love my job too much to change it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anybody else is listening and are looking for a Mediawiki business opportunity, this could be an interesting one.
Could be, especially when all the software's there for you to use. You just gotta make it work.
Right. Cool. I think that's all my questions. Yeah, it's great to talk to a fellow wiki farm administrator, someone who takes his position quite a bit more seriously than I do. Yeah, is anything I missed? Anything you want to talk about or say?
No, not really. Obviously, apart from Miraheze is always on the lookout for new volunteers who just want to help out, because all the code's public. We just need the extra bit of hands to do the little extras.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. If people want to help out, what should they do?
We have a contributing page, which I'm sure we can put at the end of this post, which basically just covers not who to contact, but where to go.
Yeah.
But a lot of our tasks are public on Fabricator, which they can just look at, pick up what they want to. If they want to figure out where to start, I believe that page will cover it. If not, I'll make sure it does before this goes public.
Cool. Yeah. If you wanted to get involved in this in this nonprofit wiki farm, you can go to contribute, or you can donate money, and of course you can create your own wikis on Miraheze.
And if you can't do any of those, just spread the word about Miraheze, because the
Yeah.
more people that use it, the better the service becomes.
Cool. Very good. All right. I believe that concludes this episode. Thank you, John. It was great talking to you.
Same with you.
This has been another episode of Between the Brackets. I want to again thank my guest, John Lewis of Miraheze. Sorry I kept mispronouncing that throughout the interview. It's harder than it looks, I guess. Thanks to all of you for listening, and I'll see you next time.